What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show post game recap of the Falcons and the Giants. Well, for the moment, Falcons fans can have a woosah moment. They can breathe a sigh of relief as the Falcons have pulled off a 17-14 victory over the New York Football Giants. It was I'm not going to say it was much CTV because it was not. It was a game that was actually, I shouldn't say it was a good game defensively for both teams. Both defenses played very, very well in holding the other guys at bay. So I guess you can't complain if you were a defensive guy. If you like good defense, you saw it here today. And it really was about, at the end, the Falcons making the plays they needed to make to get the victory. And again, Falcons hang on to win 17-14, getting a late game drive for a young Kweku field goal to again get them to a 17-14 win over the Giants. Well, let's take a look here at some of the things that we thought about this team. First of all, let's go here. Number one, they did actually run some of the things that I've been talking about. Multiple tight end sets. At one point, they did go to a 3 tight end set. As a matter of fact, I believe they scored the game time touchdown on that, going to the big tight end Lee, who is normally a blocking tight end at 280. And so I'm sure no one suspected him to be a pass catcher, but nevertheless, the Falcons find a way to get him the ball, and he scored a critical touchdown, the game time touchdown that allowed the Falcons to later on be in a position to actually win the ball game. So, like I said, man, I guess there's really nothing to complain about, really, if you are a Falcons fan, because the bottom line is you got to win. And it was something that was again desperately needed by this team, is to not go down 0-3, because I think if that would have happened, yeah, it would have been nothing nice. I think it would have been mutiny on the bounty. I think that people would have just kind of bailed out on the Falcons. So again, kudos to the Falcons for pulling off this victory, much needed a win over the Giants 17-14. So let's take a look quickly at Matt Ryan's stats here. We're going to wait for a second here so we can get everybody in to the room from our various Falcons pages that we are part of. So just hang tight with us as we get everything set up to go. But yeah, it is like I said, they did it. They did what they had to do, and they found a way to get this much needed win under their belts. As far as the takeaways of the game, well, Matt Ryan was efficient. Again, let's go ahead and get his stats up here. Let's quit messing around, get his stats up on the board here. He was efficient. Here's his stats. Ryan was 27 of 36 for 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. And we can talk about the interception that could have, in essence, sent the Falcons home with a loss, but it didn't happen. And like the old saying said, you better be lucky than good. So the Falcons were lucky that an interception was dropped in the end zone by the New York Giants defensive back. So that, again, kept them out of hot water. And at the end of the day, like I said, you better be lucky than good. I mean, did Matt have a stellar performance? He had a stellar performance when they needed to. He was, I believe, 8 of 8 on that final game time drive. They converted, I think, 4 or 5 third downs. I think 4 or 4 third downs in that last drive. So they did just enough to win it. And they did, again, some of the things that we talked about that a winning team does. They were able to convert on third down. They actually did a decent job in really the last 2 weeks of doing that. 5 of 13 converting on third downs. But the big thing is on that drive, that final drive, they were efficient, getting every third down they needed to keep that drive alive and eventually get them the game-tying touchdown. And then, hey, again, you got to go back. Kudos to Matt making the plays when he had to make in that final drive to get the game-winning field goal. Good offensive play calling by Arthur Smith. Nothing bad to say about him there. The types of things that we talked about in the pregame, getting the ball to your playmakers. Cordell Patterson making the plays that he needed to make down the stretch. Let's look at them overall. On the ground, Falcons were so-so. They only had about 69 yards rushing on the ground. Mike Davis, 12 carries for 50 yards, no touchdowns. Cordell Patterson, 7 attempts for 20 yards. Again, no touchdown. Both guys had long carries of 11 yards. Matt had 1 carry for a negative 1 yard. So that's why he had a total of 69 yards for the team. But again, the bottom line is that when they needed these guys to make a play. They were able to make a play. And the big thing with Cordell Patterson is remember, the game-changing play that he made on that final drive. It's exactly the type of play that the Falcons have to run at least 3 or 4 times a game. It's what we talk about. You got to get your playmakers the ball in space. Even Calvin Ridley, did he have a breakout game where he had 100 yards? He didn't. But in those final 2 drives, he made the type of catch you need to make. He converted and kept drives alive, making third down catches, making catches on first or second down where it kept the Falcons away from third and long. At some point, Calvin Ridley is going to have a breakout game. But right now, the Falcons just have to concentrate on winning and getting some synergy on offense. And that's something at least they showed some in those final 2 drives. Last but not least, what's another great takeaway for the Falcons in this game? The ability to not get outscored in the fourth quarter. Going into this game, the Falcons in the 2 previous games have been outscored 38-0 in the fourth quarter. In today's game, they scored double digits, 10 points. Giants scored 8, and obviously that was the margin of victory because they had a 7-6 lead going into the final period of play. So a lot of positives and good points there for the Falcons to take away. And so Falcons fans, we got to feel some kind of way that you got to be pleased about this victory and got to be pleased that, finally we're seeing at least some type of cohesion in terms of what this team is able to do on offense. Let's just go here and also take a look at defense. The defense, one of the, the things that everybody worried about, and it's funny because Arthur Smith is known as I'm sorry about that, getting a little problems here with my my screen here. Arthur Smith, known primarily as an offensive coach. It's weird that, this team has actually had a pretty good defense. Ironically, that is because the same thing when they had Dan Quinn here. Everybody talked about Dan Quinn being a great defensive coach, but the offense of the Falcons was unstoppable, especially in that Super Bowl year, thanks to the offensive coordinator, his offensive coordinator, Kyle Shanahan. And that's really what you need. Let's go to social media here for just a second here. And yeah, Greg C says somebody had to win. Well, yeah, I mean, listen, when you got a game between 2 teams that are not supposed to really go anywhere this year, the Giants at 0-2, Falcons at 0-2. Yeah, somebody had to win and either be the team that their city calls a knucklehead or the team that says, all right, we're making strides to go to the future. Fortunately for Falcons fans, they can all say this weekend that this team at least showed some glimpses of what could be. Is Matt still has some deficiencies at quarterback? Absolutely. We saw with Daniel Jones how big it is for a quarterback to be mobile enough to extend plays, to make make completions and extend plays to pick up first down. Unfortunately, Matt is going to struggle to do that for us. So we're going to have to kind of deal with that. Let's go here to social media again. Todd says 2 bad teams. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I just said this. At the end of the day, somebody, is going to be the knucklehead team. And thank God for Falcons fans. And I'm saying this as a guy that covers the Falcons on regular. I'm happy too because, man, it would have been a bad situation and made for a bad week had, in fact, the Falcons lost this game, especially if, in fact, there had been that interception on that final drive that was dropped in the end zone. It would have been, get Matt out of here. He's a bum. It would have been bad. But all that being said, I'm glad they were able to pull out the victory. It makes it a whole lot easier for us to cover sports teams when they're winning. Let's go back to social media here. Greg C says, crunch time, they stepped up 4 for 4 on third down. That's what I was talking about earlier. See, the thing about it is you got to look, everybody wants to be great all the time. But I remember watching the old Super Bowl highlights, and I was watching one game. I can't forget what 2 teams were playing, but basically what it said was great teams don't have to be great all the time. They just need to be great when they have to be. I'm not saying the Falcons are a great team. Don't get me wrong. But what I am saying is the way you produce a winning program is you have to find ways to win these types of games. Let's go back to social media again. Todd says Matt looked really bad. Well, he looked bad at times, as he always has, because he's not mobile. And right now, because, in fact, he's not mobile at all, and because he can't throw the deep ball, no defense is playing the cover 2 on the Falcons anymore. From what I shouldn't say that. They don't play a soft cover 2 anymore. What they know is we have to crowd the line of scrimmage because Matt cannot throw the ball over the top of us. At least he hasn't proven to do that. So consequently, defenses are stacked and bunched up. So as we saw last week at Tampa Bay, in that hurry up offense, one of the things it and why Matt's so good at it is it causes the defense to be not be able to stack in that nickel or six or dime defense to negate the quick passing. So the hurry up offense is geared to Matt because he can get the ball out while receivers at least still have a gap, or get the ball out where the receiver can catch the ball in space and the receiver make the play. Once teams really understood, as many of us understand, that Matt can't get the ball over the top of them, they just bunch it up and it makes it almost impossible for him to get balls out. So now what's going to be the answer? It's going to have to be the idea of them finding the ability to run the ball. All right, let's go here to back social media. Todd says, is the coach not calling deep throws, or he knows Matt can't do it? Well, this is one of the things I say is the hallmark of a good coach. See, a good coach finds a way to work around the skill sets of the player he has. We don't have Justin Fields here. Okay, we don't. So, I mean, we got to all get over it. And by the way, he didn't look so good today. He looked like a rookie, as you expect. But at the end of the day, we don't have a Justin Fields here. We don't have what was the other guy that went to San Francisco? I'm drawing a blank now. We don't have a big arm quarterback right now that is able to start. Okay, Josh Rosen has a bigger arm. He's not ready to start. And from, again, all my understanding, not necessarily here with the Falcons, but in previous teams, he has not been the best of teammates, which is why he's not been able to crack the starting roster on the teams he was with previously. We know Felipe Franks has a big arm. He can run the ball, but it still seems that he's got a little bit farther to go as far as getting the intangibles about play calling and being able to operate efficiently under pressure. Because if you remember, that was the problem he had in Florida. He was great as long as there wasn't a lot of pressure. When I say pressure, pressurized game situations, because then his decision-making got a little cloudy. So right now, the Falcons don't have a quarterback on their roster that can continue to deliver the type of play from the quarterback position that you need to win in today's NFL. So what do we got to do? You can't go out there and not play. So you have to work around what you have. And again, to the credit of Arthur Smith, knowing what Matt is and is not, he's like, look, I'm going to have to try to dial this back and rely a lot on my playmakers, the Cordell Pattersons, the Kyle Pitts, and guys like that. All right, so let's see here and take a peek. Todd's asking a question: why not more screens from Matt? Yeah, so you saw today. See, the thing about the screens, in order for the screens to be effective, you have to be able to. Your offense has to be able to operate well in other areas of the game. So, in order for screen passes to really work, you have to have at least completed a couple of plays downfield, or at least medium length, for them to say, you know what, we're going to stay back because he might hurt us on a deep throw. Or will you find that the rush is putting so much pressure on the quarterback that, again, you can do misdirection and things like that. But right now, the offense has not generated enough consistency for screen plays to work in any real consistency at all. The only thing that you want to do now is what you saw a little bit of today is the bubble screen. The bubble screen, I think, is going to be a very effective weapon for the Falcons because you have guys that are good yak guys. And what I mean by yak, for those of you who are new, yards after catch. Ridley, good yards after catch guy, especially if he gets that step. We know that Kyle Pitts is a good yards after catch guy because he's huge. So this is really we're looking at. Let's go here again, back social media. Stormtrooper says, we ought to clean house. We need to clean house. See, here's the problem why the Falcons didn't clean house before. It's because Matt Ryan's contract is structured in such a way that even if you got rid of him, you're hamstrung. And at least with Matt, you're going to get some NFL level of play, whereas if everything goes right, you can at least be 500 and keep the fans somewhat in the game. There was just no way to kind of get rid of him. Once they signed that additional contract, it became really problematic. Like I said, his contract, the way it's set up, it's really difficult for the Falcons to get to not only be saddled with his contract, but also remember now to be able to get anything out of it as far as getting a decent player. Because you think yourself, okay, think of the teams that would possibly be a landing place for Matt. You can't even think of one, can you? You know, that's it. Let's go to Stormtrooper right here. He's saying he's a Giants fan. Oh, okay. Well, in the case of the Giants, I mean, if you're talking about them, I don't know what they need to do. I don't think they need to clean house. Daniel Jones is a pretty good player. We can see that he's a mobile guy. He's got a big arm, and I think once the Giants are completely healthy, Galladay and Evan, I'm drawing a blank now. Hold on one second. Let me go back to my notes here for a second. Sorry. Once these two guys for the Giants are completely healthy, Evan Engram and Kenny Galladay, they're going to do well. And the other thing, of course, the other guy has to be healthy is Saquon Barkley. Because when Saquon Barkley, we saw glimpses of it today. When he's right, buddy, the Giants are a whole different team. So you Giant fans you're the opposite of us. See, in our position, we got old players. We have our quarterback's an older guy, can't move. Our wide receivers need a guy that could throw the ball over the top and the guy is mobile. You got basically, if we could trade, if we had Daniel Jones, Falcons would be a tough team to beat. Let's go back to social media here for a moment. Let's look here at let's see what we got here. Stormtrooper 24, I think we got him already. You said, yeah, he is a Giant fan. We got that. But yeah, guys, it's like this. The Falcons I predicted them to be 10-7 because I drank the Kool-Aid. I think it's going to be tough for them to be 10-7 unless this offense can get into a better synergy than they are right now. Because it does appear that we might have something here with this defense. And speaking of defense, let's give some kudos and praise to where praise is deserved. How about the guy changing his uniform and it's helped him from 56 to 6? Mr. Dante Fowler comes up with sack number 2. I think that bonus plan that the Falcons set him up with, that he would be incentivized, I think it's $1 million for every certain level of sacks. I think if he gets to 6 sacks, he gets $1 million bonus. I think it's 8 sacks, he gets $2 million. And then at 11 sacks, he gets $4 million. I think Mr. Fowler playing for that money, which is great. That's what you want. All right. Let's go here. Greg. Oh, it's you, that Greg. Okay, man. Appreciate you, bro. That's Greg from Action Sports and News Network. Okay, guys. I'm going to have him put up, Greg, do me a favor, type in your information as far as your website so people can, I'm going to put that on the screen so that people can find out more about you. The other thing is this guy, you guys think I'm on the field. This guy's one of the best sports photographers around, and some of his pictures on his website are going to blow your mind. He follows the SEC, the ACC. He covers most of the big ball games, so that's it. All right, here we go here. Mo, he says Blair Thomas. Saquon Barkley is done. Come on, man. Don't compare him to Blair Thomas. For those of you who don't know, put in Blair Thomas in Google. He was I believe a Penn State guy from back in the day, had a breakout season, and then kind of had some injuries and was never the same. Saquon, hopefully that's not the case for him. Mo, you shouldn't be jinxing your boy like that. Shouldn't do it. Let's go to more social media here. It is Mo saying, I predicted the Giants to be 5-12, but I think I gave them too much credit. It's early in the season, man. We're all tripping. We're really, you're 3 games into a 17-game season. Let's go to Todd here. He says, last question, preacher. That pass play that Matt threw in the 4th, the Giants dropped in the end zone, should have been game over. That is the it factor with Matt I'm talking about. Well, it's like I said, Todd, that's what I said early on, man. It's like this. In the world of sports, a lot of times you'd rather be lucky than good, because I can give you a whole rostrum of great players that have had things go their way because of a luck. Let me give you an example. I'm going back, way back in the Wayback Machine, to the second Super Bowl between the Cincinnati Bengals and the San Francisco 49ers and the great Joe Montana drive. If you go back and watch that whole game, in the middle of that drive, I think it was play number 6, Joe Montana threw a pass that was dropped by Cincinnati Bengals defensive back. Obviously, if the ball had been intercepted, game over. We wouldn't be talking about Joe Montana as being the great. We wouldn't be talking about that great comeback or anything. It was luck. I mean, he had luck on his side. Am I saying that makes, Matt a great quarterback? No, but what I'm saying is sometimes you need luck to kind of change the way things go, even sometime in the season. You don't know. I know it's early, but that one play could change the whole trajectory of the Falcons season and could change the trajectory for the Giants season. Let's go back here to social media. All right, guys, he popped up on the screen for us there. Again, it's actionsportsandnews.com. Actionsportsandnews.com. That's our good friend, Greg. Like I said again, guys, if you want to see some phenomenal pictures especially of SEC and ACC football, go and check that website out, actionsportsandnews.com. Let's go back to Mo. Mo says, so the Giants are unlucky and not good. Well, right now they are. I mean, right now, without Saquon Barkley, this team is handicapped. Because see, with a Saquon Barkley, he's such a dynamic player offensively in both the run game and the pass game. It's very similar to what you have with Christian McCaffrey down in Carolina. When he's on top of his game, Carolina's completely different, no matter who they have at quarterback, because now you have a guy that can set tempo by running the ball, that can make big plays either on the ground or in terms of receiver, and can take nothing and turn it into something. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult without Saquon Barkley. And like I said, your guy, for Giants fans, your pieces are just coming back. I mean, you got, in terms of Golladay, a guy you spent a lot of money to be your number one wide receiver. He's been banged up. Evan Ingram is one of the best tight ends in the game when he's healthy. So who knows how good this Giant team could be is, in fact, once everybody gets healthy. Let's go to my man, Greg. He said, take the drop, count your blessing. That happens in sports. That's right. Look, I mean, we're all tripping, all right? Yeah. I'm going back and I'm going to repeat the same thing I said earlier. Sometimes in the world of sports and in life, sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good. I mean, because that's the way life works. There are times where the best team does not win. If you really want to you take a look at it, Eli Manning was honored today in the Giants Hall of Fame. He probably will go to Ring of Honor, and probably go to the Hall of Fame. Now, was Eli necessarily the best quarterback of his generation? No. But when it came time for him to perform on the biggest stage, he made the plays he had to make. You can say, oh, the guy trapped on his helmet. He was lucky. They played at Mangrum. Mangrum did all the work. Regardless, if you look, he threw no interceptions, I don't think, in either one of those games. And he was able to get out of a sure sack on that helmet catch throw. That was a play the Patriots had him dead to rights, and he somehow got out of it and was able to get enough on the ball to get it out there for his teammate to make a play. Because remember, a lot of times in the world of sports, it's not about you making an individual play. It's about you getting to the teammate, the right person at the right time in the right place for them to make a play. And whether you like Eli or not, he did that twice. Can't take that away from him. And so that's the way life works. Any other time you throw that play 10 more times, I guarantee you the guy didn't catch the ball in his helmet except maybe about one more time. But again, sometimes it's all about luck. Sometimes all about good fortune, about the Lord blessing you to make a play versus your competitor. And that's really all there's to it, guys. I mean, we can take this thing and do a neutron dance if we want, but that's it. I can go back and look at the Knicks and the Bulls in the heyday when they played. There were plays where if the Knicks had made one more play, we wouldn't be talking about the great Bulls dynasty. I look at the Celtics. There are plays that are made throughout the history of sports. That's what happened. Let's go to Mo. Mo says Eli Manning is 500 for his career. Yeah, but here's the thing. The thing about it is what we remember about great players is they made great plays in the biggest of games. Think about this. Joe Namath is in the Hall of Fame. If you look at his statistics, they're terrible. I mean, you tell yourself, this guy got no business being in the Hall of Fame, but the reason why he's in the Hall of Fame because he won a game that changed the landscape of professional football. When the Jets upset the Colts, it allowed the NFL to merge with the AFL, which would not have happened had they lost that game, because up until that point, the Packers had been dominant in their two previous wins over the AFC's two best teams, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Oakland Raiders. So if the Jets had come along after having beaten those teams, to get to the Super Bowl and got blown out by the Colts, I mean, the AFL would look like a joke. But because he didn't, because he had the audacity to have the statement blast all over the sports world, we're going to beat the Colts, I guarantee it, it became a historical thing. Now, backstory, a lot of people felt that the Colts fixed that game. This is a backstory. But it's neither here nor there. He was the trigger man, so he gets the credit. Well, guys, listen, man, I appreciate you guys, as always, for bopping in here and hanging out with us for a little bit. Remember, please do this for me, please. We're on YouTube. If you haven't done so already, bump, Follow us on all social media at Real Talk Sports 7. Also, remember to subscribe to us on our YouTube page, which many of you are watching right now. Please hit the subscribe, boop, and number 2, hit the bell, bing, so that you might get notification when we go on the air, because we are on the air a couple of times a week. We do our regular Real Talk Sports show every Tuesday at 8 p.m. That's when we do it. It's on every Tuesday, 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. on this same platform on YouTube. We're also on Facebook Live and on Twitter TV, so check us out there. We also do the high school football game of the week from Clayton County out of Tara Stadium. We do that each and every week, so please check us out when we do that as well. And that's on Friday nights. We do Friday Night Live. And it's brought to you by Allen Vigil Ford and Lincoln. They are the guys that help us up and against the high school football game of the week from Clayton County. We do it at Tara Stadium. Check us out there. We are on 7:30s on Friday night. So please do that. Now, last but not least, drum roll, please. Bam! Follow us on social media at Real Talk Sports 7. Follow me personally at Minister J. Sim. And you also can go right to our website, realtalksports.net. Or you can also hit me up with an email, jsimmons@realtalksports.net. Or you can call me on the cell, 678-410-9833. For the following reasons. One, if you have an outstanding athlete or coach or even a parent that's doing something great and you think, man, you should spotlight them on the Real Talk Sports Show, let me know. Again, there's my email, jsimmons@realtalksports.net, or call me on the cell, 678-410-9833. We'd love to have them on. Let's go to social media one more time before we wrap it up. It's our man Mo. He says, I'm a Giants fan, but Eli Manning went to Disneyland for that first Super Bowl because they couldn't take the entire defense. No, you're right. I mean, that defense played about as good as you possibly could play against Tom Brady. But at the end of the day, if you look at Eli's numbers, the guy didn't throw an interception. He completed over 65% of his passes, and he threw a couple of touchdown passes. So regardless of how good the defense is, if the offense doesn't punch the ball in, you guys still don't win. And that's why he was, oh, by the way, named, the player of the game. Now, again, the defense, no question, they did exactly what you had to do. Matter of fact, the Falcons were doing the same thing before they choked up their game. They got great defensive pressure on Brady up the middle. Did not allow him to get comfortable in the pocket in that first half, and that's what the Giants did in that whole game. So we know that, listen, we already know the magic solution to stop any great drop-back quarterback. Got to get pressure up the middle so they're not comfortable in their own skin while they're in that backfield. All right, guys, again, we thank you so much for joining us here on the broadcast. And until the next time, God bless you and have a good night. See you.